Hey, good morning. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's Lifetime. Hey, guys. Glad to be with you. Hey, my partner in crime, Pastor Marcus Clark, is the host of our LYFE program. I just get to go along for the ride as the co-host. And so today we want to talk to you. Hey, you can hear in the background, Reverend Timothy Wright. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Hey, that's my message to you today. Trouble doesn't last always. Aren't you glad? We don't own the rights, of course, to any of this music, but we wanted to give credit where credit is due. And so I wanted to give you a minute, get yourself together. Many of you are probably already out and about, maybe on your way to work, already at your cubicle, or some are maybe still at home getting dressed. But let this song kind of marinate and resonate with you. Can you hear it? I'm so glad. Trouble don't last always. Aren't you glad about that? I am. Woo, Lord have mercy. I'm glad trouble don't last always. In times, storm clouds rise. He'll be there. He'll be there. I'm so glad it don't last always. Hey, listen, you want to bless us, there's your information there. But again, we're not on here for that. But just in case you want to, feel free to. But we want you to know we on Pastor Clark and myself. We're trying to give life. Amen. The word does that, give life. And we're just trying to share it with you during these troubled times to know that trouble don't last always. Hey, if you need a thought for the day, calm down. That's what I want you to do, is calm down. I know there's a lot going on, man. Stuff's happening. Stuff is going. But, child of God, calm down. Calm down. That's what you got to do. You got to calm down. Here's the verse I want us to look at today. It's found in Exodus chapter 14, verses 19 and 20. And we're going to read those here for you. The angel of God that had been leading the camp of Israel now shifted and got behind them. And the pillar of cloud that had been in front also shifted to the rear. Amen. The cloud was now between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. The cloud enshrouded one camp in darkness and flooded the other with light. Listen to this. The two camps didn't come near each other all night. Ooh. That God of ours is something, isn't he? Listen, he'll do it. Did you see it? The pillar of cloud is what is known as a theophany. Literally, God showed up. God showed up at the most critical time in their lives. And here's what I come to tell you this morning with the little bit of time that we got. He'll do the same thing for you and for me in our difficult and challenging situations. Don't despair, don't fret, don't panic. Know that he will show up. A theophany. Yeah, big word. Just simply means God will show up. Ooh. Aren't you glad about that today? God will show up. And when he shows up, you know you can finish it. You can finish it. He will show out. And he does that. And so we want you to know, look, I know you're going through. I don't minimize that. I don't put that to the side. But I want you to know you can calm down. You can know that God will show up. He's already there. Remember, he said, I'm with you until the end of the age. Yeah, he's with you. He's with me. He's with us. Amen. Well, I know what you're saying, but Pastor White, come on. You don't know what I'm going through. Listen, I may not, but I know somebody who does. Amen. I know somebody who is with you and understands your situation. Well, let me give you a little more. The difficulty of the task for the Israelites, and maybe for you, your situation, for them, there was too much water in front of them. They couldn't get across all that water. There was no way they could get across all that water. And your situation may be the same. You're saying within yourself, Pastor White, Pastor Clark, what's in front of me is too much. I can't get through that. Hang on, calm down. And we're going to walk you through this to know that God has come that you may have life through Jesus Christ and have it more abundantly. And it may look bad right now, but I'm here to tell you this: God is with you. If you don't remember nothing else today, remember that word, theophany. God showed up. God showed up. So the task may be difficult, maybe too much in front of you. I get it. Listen, not only was it too much in front of him, but old Pharaoh was coming behind him. And they're saying, now look, this is too much. We got too much water in front and too much drama in behind. Somebody on here this morning is saying, man, that's me. That's my situation. I got too much in front of me and I got too much drama behind me. What is I'm going to do? Woo, I caught it. I know you. And here's what I want you to see. If you think that's bad, the hills on either side of them was too high to climb. Huh? The hills on either side of them was too high to climb. Too high to climb. Too high to climb. Too high to climb. So you're saying, I see you sitting there. I see the look on your face. Pastor White, I got too much in front of me. I got too much drama behind me. And now I got this thing is too high to climb out of. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. We're here to give you some life lessons to encourage your heart to know that God has not forgotten you or your situation. God is there. He will show up. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Well, 3-4 quick things I want to give you. First of all, you got to affirm God's presence. He said he would never leave you nor forsake you. Folks will walk out on you and kick you smooth to the curb. But I'm so glad God will not walk out on you. He's with you. He'll be there. He is with you to sustain you, to keep you, to guide, to hold, to cover, to care. He'll do all of that. But I know sometimes with what's in front of us and what's behind us and what we got to climb out of, it just seems to be too much. It's overbearing. It's overwhelming. But you got to affirm God's presence. How do I do that, Pastor White? He said, be still in Psalm 46:10 and know that I'm God. Be still. Old folks used to do this. It's going to date me, not Pastor Clark, but it'll date me. The old folks, when it would storm outside, used to tell us as kids, get somewhere and sit down. Why? God is at work. Even in the storm, he's at work. You remember when the disciples on the Sea of Galilee and the storm came up out of nowhere and they panicked? Jesus is asleep, knocked out, pulling the tar off of the boat. But the disciples on top of the deck running around panic. Jesus is asleep. And they go and wake him up and they say, Master, don't you care that we perish? Sometimes that's our statement as well. We know he cares, but we're so focused on the storm that we miss the fact that the storm chaser is on the boat. Yes, Lord, affirm his presence. You got to affirm his presence. He's with you. Maybe everybody else walked out. Maybe they couldn't handle it, but he can handle it. He can handle it. Not only that, here it is. Here it is. You ready? Visualize God's presence. You got to look for him. Yeah, you got to look for him. You got to visualize God's presence. You got to visualize God's presence. You got to see him in your situation. Yeah. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me that I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. You better wake up, child of God, and understand he's with you. Not only affirm his presence, you got to affirm it. Amen. You got to know it. And you got to visualize his presence above everything else that's in front of you, above everything else that's coming behind you, and above everything else that's on the side of you. You got to visualize God's presence. Theophany. God will show up. I'm here to tell you, he'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. Here's the third thing. I want you to see it. It's right in the text. You got to access God's presence. What? You got to access God's presence. How do I do that, Pastor White? Listen, call upon him. That's what he said. While he's near, seek him while he may be found. The Israelites had God with them, leading in front. But then he comes, according to the passage we read earlier, behind them, in between them and Pharaoh. Oh, man, Pharaoh's still coming. Trouble's still coming. But God is in between them and the trouble. And it says the two camps didn't get near each other all night. Ooh. I can hear my old grandma say, all night and all day, the angels keep watch over me, my Lord. Calm down and recognize you can affirm God's presence. You can access God's presence, right? You can visualize God's presence. But not only that, child of God, here it is. You can rest in his presence. You catch the passage that we read earlier in Exodus 14, verses 19 and 20. It says clearly that that God went from in front of them to behind them, in between them and Pharaoh, and it provided rest for them. He was with them, and though the enemy was approaching them, he got in between them and let them rest. Notice the text. I didn't make it up. It says the cloud created darkness for Pharaoh, but light for the Israelites. Lord have mercy. Woo! He'll let your enemy be right there and can't find you. Yes, sir. He'll let your enemy be right there, but can't find you. Let your enemy be right there, but can't find you. Rest in his presence. Rest in his presence. Rest in his presence. You hear what I said? Rest in his presence. Lord have mercy. Rest in his presence. Rest in his presence. You better do it. Calm down, child of God. That's not to say you deny what's in front of you, or deny what's behind you, or deny what's on either side of you, but you gotta affirm God's presence. He's there. You gotta visualize his presence. He's there. You gotta not only affirm and visualize, but you gotta also access God's presence. You can come into his presence. And it says, we just read in Psalm 100 yesterday, come into his presence with what? Thanksgiving. Woo! And to his courts with praise. Yeah, something about being in his presence will give you peace that passes all understanding. Yeah, and like Dr. Timothy Wright says, trouble don't last always. Lord have mercy. You get it? There it is. Listen, I got just a few more minutes. I want to get this to you. Child of God, calm down. I get it. Stuff's going on. Drama's everywhere. Trouble's everywhere. But know this. He is, God is what? A very present, what? Help when in our time of trouble. Ooh. There it is, that word present. He's with you. He's there. He's that theophany. God will show up. And when he shows up, child of God, he'll show out. I'm a witness. He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. So this day, whatever you face, whatever you see in front of you, whatever you see behind you, whatever you see on either side of you, calm down. Why, Pastor White? Because you can affirm God's presence. He'll show up. You can access God's presence. He's there. You can come into his presence. You can visualize his presence. You see him. Yeah, he's there. He's there. And then because of that knowledge, no matter what's going on around you, rest. Rest. Isaiah 26:3, he'll keep you, me, us in perfect peace as we keep our mind stayed on him. Woo-wee! He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. Doc Clark, it'll be on you, brother. We just wanted to pass it on. And we want to celebrate and join together in this life, in this time of life, as the word speaks to us, as we give just little nuggets throughout the week to encourage you, the children of God, saints, brothers, friends, sisters, members, cousins, Ray, Pookie, all of them, to know that God is a very present help in your time of trouble. Well, here it is. I'm going to leave you with this. Psalm 46:10, the A clause of the verse. Be still and know that I am God. He is God. Yes, yes, yes. Be still and know that he is God. Yes, sir. Be still and know that he is God. And he'll do it for you. He'll do it for me. He's that kind of God. Ain't he? Ain't he that kind of God? He's that kind of God. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's that kind of God. So, child of God, as we go tonight, know this. God is with us. And God is present. And God is there. And God will sustain. When all others walk out, God is a very what? You know how to finish it. Present help in your time of trouble. Yes, he is. You hear it? My. Why don't you put your hands together? There it is. There it is. Weeping May. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. How about that? How about that? Listen, I got to go. I'm certainly out of time, but not out of message. Listen, on this glorious Tuesday morning, let the Lord reign, rule, and keep you throughout this day. And remember, calm down. He's with you. He'll show up, affirm his presence, access his presence, visualize his presence, and rest in his presence. Go in peace. May the God of all comfort be with you and keep you this day.